Did the Wizards just steal the next NBA star? What if I told you that a potential NBA star just slipped under everyone's radar? A player with massive upside who could change the future of a franchise. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what happened this offseason, and it could shake up the league in 2025. Cam Whitmore was a name on everyone's radar in the lead-up to the 2023 NBA Draft. A player whose athleticism, versatility, and scoring potential had scouts buzzing. He had the tools to become a future star in the league. But when draft night came, something unexpected happened. Whitmore, who was originally projected to go in the top 10, slid all the way down to the 20th pick. Houston grabbed him at that spot, and on paper it seemed like a steal. But right after 2 seasons in Houston, that initial excitement faded, and the reality of the Rockets' depth set in. Houston wasn't a team in rebuild mode anymore. They were stacking up pieces for a playoff push. So, when they traded for Kevin Durant in the offseason, things got even more complicated for Whitmore. The Rockets' forward rotation was now crowded with established stars, including Durant, Jalen Green, and Jabari Smith Jr. Whitmore, who had averaged just 17 minutes per game over his first 2 seasons, found it increasingly difficult to crack the rotation. He had moments of brilliance, like his breakout 34-point game against the Lakers in April 2024, where he shot a blistering 13 of 19 from the field, including 7 of 12 from 3. The performance showed flashes of a future star, but Houston, with its sights set firmly on the playoffs, didn't have the luxury of giving him the developmental time he needed. Meanwhile, the Washington Wizards, in the middle of their rebuild, were quietly watching. The Wizards were coming off a major roster overhaul. With Bradley Beal gone and the team embracing a future centered around young talent, the front office was actively looking for players who could grow alongside their core group, and that's when they saw the opportunity to strike. By 2025, the Wizards were still far from contending, but their foundation was in place with young players like Balo Coulibaly and Alex Saw. The trade for Whitmore made sense. The Wizards weren't just taking a shot on a young player, they were taking a calculated risk on someone with immense upside. They sent 2 second-round picks to Houston, a seemingly small return, but in reality, it was a steal. The Wizards had long been missing that one key piece to help lead their future, and they could offer Whitmore the one thing Houston couldn't: minutes. In Washington, Whitmore would have the chance to showcase his full potential. The Wizards weren't competing for a championship in 2025, but they needed someone who could eventually become a cornerstone of their rebuild. With few forwards ahead of him in the depth chart, Whitmore could have the freedom to develop his game without being overshadowed by veterans or star players. In Washington, Whitmore's path to stardom is much clearer. With the team's focus on player development, he's now in a place where his growth isn't hindered by a win-now mentality. The Wizards are investing their time and resources into grooming young talent, and Whitmore's skill set aligns perfectly with their vision. His versatility, coupled with a fresh start, could be the key to unlocking his full potential. Houston's decision to move Whitmore wasn't one made lightly. Despite his potential, the Rockets were focused on building a playoff contender, and Whitmore didn't fit into that immediate plan. The acquisition of Durant and the crowded forward rotation forced Houston into a position where they needed to move pieces around to maximize their window for success in 2025. As the Rockets made their push for the 2025 playoffs, the trade for Kevin Durant signaled their commitment to immediate success. Durant's addition to a roster already stacked with talent shifted the team's focus. The Rockets couldn't afford to invest heavily in a young player like Whitmore, who would need time to develop. With the rise of players like Green and Smith, the team's priorities shifted from nurturing potential to maximizing their championship window. The reality of competing at the highest level meant parting with promising but raw talent like Whitmore. This decision wasn't a dismissal of his potential, but rather a move to solidify their future as a contender. From a financial standpoint, trading Whitmore made sense too. The Rockets' roster was becoming more expensive, with the looming luxury tax putting pressure on the team's salary cap. Whitmore's rookie contract, while valuable, also limited Houston's flexibility. So they decided to send him to a place where he could grow into a more prominent role, something that could benefit both him and the Rockets in the long run. And now, back to Whitmore. This is a player who, despite a slight fall in the draft, was regarded as a top 10 talent. He dominated in the 2023 Summer League, earning MVP honors and showing why he was a highly sought-after prospect. Even with his limited playing time in Houston, he proved that he could step up when needed. His versatility on offense and his ability to stretch the floor with his shooting made him a dangerous weapon when given the chance. As the Wizards enter this new phase of their rebuild, they're building a future centered around players like Whitmore, who have the potential to become stars. In Washington, Whitmore's path to becoming a franchise cornerstone is clearer than ever. He's now in his hometown of Maryland, a place that could ignite his passion and motivation. Returning to familiar territory could be just the spark he needs to take his game to the next level. The question now becomes, can Whitmore live up to the hype? Can he take advantage of the opportunity Washington is giving him? Early indications are promising. With more minutes on the floor and a team that's invested in his development, Whitmore could blossom into a player who not only lives up to his pre-draft potential, but exceeds it. He could become the centerpiece of Washington's future, leading them back to playoff contention. And let's not forget the nature of the trade itself. 2 second-round picks for a player of Whitmore's caliber. That's a low-risk, high-reward move for the Wizards. For a team in the midst of a rebuild, this could be the kind of trade that sets them up for success in the long run. There's always a gamble in trades like this. If Whitmore doesn't pan out, the Wizards gave up very little. But if he does, the return on investment could be huge. The Rockets might look back at this trade with regret, especially if Whitmore becomes the star many believe he can be. While Houston made moves to strengthen their playoff contention, they might have traded away a future all-star at the expense of short-term success. Teams across the league are watching this move closely, and many are probably kicking themselves for not swooping in on Whitmore before the Wizards did. It's easy to forget how quickly an NBA player's career can change. The difference between being an afterthought and being a star can often come down to the right opportunity at the right time. Whitmore, who was written off by some in the NBA world after being drafted 20th overall, could prove to be one of the biggest steals of the 2025 season. If Whitmore continues to develop in Washington, we might look back at this trade in a few years as a pivotal moment in the Wizards' franchise history. Whether he becomes a star or just another solid role player, one thing is clear. The Wizards got him for a fraction of what he's truly worth, and they could end up reaping the rewards for years to come. So, there it is. The Wizards might have just pulled off one of the sneakiest moves of the offseason, and if Cam Whitmore reaches his full potential, this trade will go down as a huge win for their rebuild. What do you think? Is Whitmore the next big star in Washington, or will he fade into the background like so many other potential players before him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more NBA updates. Catch you in the next one.